dragons is I, Ashley, your Dungeon Master, and host of Dungeon Master's Delights. And today we have gone remote to the kitchen of Karen. This is Karen, my mama. Hi. Today we're going to make dilly beans. Alrighty, so for this project you are going to need pickling and canning salt. Vinegar, we are using apple cider vinegar. You can use regular vinegar if you want. Dill, you want the heads, not the leaves. Garlic, our garlic is a little small, but it'll still work just fine. Your canning jar, we're using a quart canning jar. And of course, the very most important ingredient, your green bean, grown here. And then thyme, because it takes time, as most things do. Your very first step is going to be washing your beans.
After you pick them.
Well, yes. After you pick them or buy them, I guess. So the second step, while Karen is cutting the ends off of the beans, you can cut both ends if you want, but the only one you really need to cut off is the end where it attached to the plant, the one with the stem. I am going to cut garlic. I'm gonna cut your garlic, peel it, cut it in half at least so it releases all of its juices, and you're gonna put them in your jar. Because they are so little, I'm going to put at least 2 pieces, maybe 3 per jar. If it's the really big, nice garlic, like the elephant garlic, you really only need 1 per jar. Once all your garlic are in your jars, you're gonna take your dill and cut off the stem pretty close to your dill head, like so. That way it fits in your jar. Dill head, Mama says it goes in best this way, so all the beans fit. So then once that's done, you have all of your garlic at the bottom, your dill in the jar, and you put it aside and do all of your jars at once. It makes it so much easier. Okay, so my jars are all filled. My beans are uncut. Now, yeah, stuff them in. You want to pack as many beans as you can get into the jar. Hey Mama, how close to the top can the beans be? If you didn't hear her, she said 1/2 inch to 1/4. So if it's too tall, you just chop it off and stuff all the ends in on the top. So once the jar is filled, and when I say stuffed, I mean stuffed. I don't know if I can fit another bean in there. I do, however, have a little space at the top. So all those ends that I cut off, I'm gonna stuff in the top. And then you're gonna do all your other jars. Pretty much do everything in steps. After you have all of your jars filled with beans, so many beans, you're gonna put 4½ cups of water in a large pot. And don't spill it all over the place. And then you're gonna put 4½ cups of vinegar. We're gonna use 2 cups of apple cider vinegar and 2½ cups of white vinegar. And 7 tablespoons of pickling salt. The thing about not having your own kitchen is you don't know where anything is. Okay, 7 tablespoons of salt. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 1/4 cup. 5, 6, 7. And then we bring it to a boil. Once your salt bath has been boiled, you want to put a little bit in your jars to make sure your jars just don't crack and go because that would be horrible. You'd have glass and beans all over the place. I use a funnel so that I don't burn myself, and then I just pour slowly. I used a 1 cup measuring cup and put maybe 1/2 cup in. I don't know if you guys can see the line, but it is roughly here. So we're just gonna set that aside and do it to the others.
You can fill the rest of the jars with the vinegar, salt water, just to cover these beans. And then you need to take a paper towel and wipe the rim of each jar till they're dry, so you don't want them damp at all.
Okay.
And then you put your fresh lids on. And then we put your rings on.
Alright, okay. Awesome. We have our 6 beautiful jars of beans. Once that's all done, you put them in a pot. Did I mention you needed a pot? Well, you're gonna need a pot. So you put them in a very large pot that has a cover, and you put enough water in to just cover all the lids. And you're going to bring it to a boil. Once it's at a boil, you're going to boil it for 15 minutes. Okay, and then you take them out of the water. One of these things is best because you don't have to burn yourself. They're very, very hot. Very, very hot. Then you place them on a towel to dry slightly before you do anything else.
When they seal, they pop, and the little seal thing in the middle will go down.
Okay.
So just a few pointers or tips that I would recommend is largemouth jars are easiest to pack, and definitely quarts is where beans will fit. You want to use fresh beans. You want to do it, can any vegetable soon after you pick them. Keep them fresh.
All right, and that is how you make dilly beans. Of course, and then you have to wait for at least a month before you eat them. Apparently, if they're stored in the right conditions, they will store for years, which is awesome. Not that these ones will last years because I like dilly beans too much, but you have to stay in the jars for at least 1 month.